Hello and welcome to the third webinar in our series, Jumpstart Your Cloud Journey with Sierra-Cedar and Oracle Analytics Cloud. There will be a question and answer session at the end of our presentation today, so please submit any questions you may have using the chat window located at the bottom of the webinar control panel. Today's presentation topic is Migrate Your Essbase Financial Reports, Web Analysis, and Smart View Reports to OAC Essbase. Our presenters are Jason Little, Vice President of our EPM and BI practice, and Jay Chapman, Senior Consultant. Jason, please take it away.
Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. So in today's webinar session, as Michelle just mentioned, we're going to dive into Essbase financial reporting, as well as other reporting options that many of you may be familiar with over the years, utilizing Essbase, such as Smart View, the Essbase Excel add-in, as well as an older product called Web Analysis that some of you may be familiar with to create dashboards and reports over Essbase. So in today's session, we're really going to go through a live demonstration of what's called the Performance Reporting Cloud service, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. But our goal today is to really give you some additional information around how you would move your reporting to the cloud and what options you have to move your reporting to the cloud. And as part of our ongoing webinar series, next week we are going to dive into the Oracle Analytics Cloud data visualization and business intelligence option as well. And then lastly, hoping you can join us for our last webinar, we'll cover topics around migrating your on-premise Oracle business intelligence reporting to Oracle Analytics Cloud. So today's agenda, we're going to spend a little bit of time up front just recapping again for everyone what Oracle Analytics Cloud is, as well as what options are available within the Oracle Analytics Cloud as you think about your direction going forward with reporting. And then we're going to talk specifically about the Essbase report design options. This will be the bulk of the discussion today. Jay is going to provide a demonstration of the Performance Reporting Cloud service, and you'll hear us refer to that as EPRC. That's the acronym that's often used to define the Performance Reporting Cloud. And we're going to go through a series of options today showing you how you can take on-premise FR reports. So those of you that are familiar with Hyperion or Essbase reporting, you're familiar with the term FR, which stands for financial reports. It's been the longtime standard for reporting over all of the Hyperion applications, whether it's planning, HFM, Essbase, as well as the newer versions of 11.124. You know, FR continues to be the kind of the standard reporting tool for on-premise. And what we've done here at Sierra-Cedar is working with one of our clients. We actually came up with a kind of a process to migrate those reports into the cloud, and we're going to go through that process today. We're also going to talk about some of the other reporting options that are available, such as Web Analysis, the Essbase Excel add-in, as well as Essbase Smart View, and some kind of high-level steps, if you will, bringing those into the Oracle Analytics Cloud. So the Oracle Analytics Cloud, for those of you that have participated in the last couple of sessions, there's different ways of deploying the Oracle Analytics Cloud. And wanted to emphasize again that you can certainly start off small with what we call a standard edition and then grow into a larger enterprise deployment. So you have some flexibility in terms of your monthly subscription to Oracle Analytics Cloud, and you have the flexibility of picking and choosing what functionality you leverage within the cloud. So as part of the webinar series, we've spent a lot of time talking about Essbase, and then in the last two webinars, we're going to talk a lot about data visualization and business analytics. So you really have the choice and flexibility of how you deploy it. It can be a complete standalone Essbase deployment, or it could be a complete standalone business analytics deployment, or it could be a complete standalone data visualization employment. So you have flexibility in how you deploy the Oracle Analytics Cloud. And with that said, remember there's three key components to the Oracle Analytics Cloud. The most important one being the Oracle database is included with the cloud. So the one thing that really differentiates the Oracle Analytics Cloud is it is a true platform as a service, which we discussed a lot on the first webinar. Well, that platform as a service, gives you everything you need to deploy analytics, either Essbase, BI, data visualization on a standalone basis or as an integrated package, and it comes with the Oracle database. And in our last webinar, there was a lot of great questions about, do you have to load your source data into the Oracle database within the cloud? And the answer to that is no, you can still have source data that resides in your on-premise systems. That could be an on-premise data warehouse, that could be an on-premise ERP system, or just an on-premise operational data mart, if you will. You can then have solutions such as data sync that we've mentioned that could then pull and replicate that data and push it into the cloud. But you do have the flexibility of leveraging the full use Oracle database that comes with this. And this is a engineered system database. It has backup and recovery, high availability, clustering, all that is built into this database that Oracle provides. So you could really expand this out and look at designing and building a data warehouse within the cloud. Certainly those types of topics are things that we could talk with you more about as you look at the Oracle Analytics Cloud and how it may be a fit or not a fit for what you're doing today. So from an architecture standpoint, again, the two main components, the Oracle database and the storage, are provided, and then you determine the analytics instances and how you deploy those instances. And as we've talked about on some previous webinars, your analytics Essbase instance could be a standalone instance that has its storage and Oracle database components, or you could have your own standalone Oracle Business Analytics, formerly known as OBIEE instance, and data visualization with its own storage and database container. But the real value of the Oracle Analytics Cloud is bringing all this together, which then allows you to bring data from multiple sources into the Analytics Cloud and provide a full range of reporting, analytics, data visualization, predictive analytics, and then even, as we've mentioned a few times, getting into big data and machine learning and other areas that are available within the data lakes edition of OAC. So from a Oracle Analytics Essbase perspective, the reporting design options that you have today, and I'm speaking to standalone Essbase reporting applications, but the process that we're going to show you today would also apply to any FR reports that you have with Hyperion Planning, with Hyperion Financial Management. So the other applications within the EPM solution, the process of taking your FR reports into the Performance Reporting Cloud would be very similar to what we're going to show you today. In addition, there may be some clients out there, and we actually have 3 or 4 of them, that still use the old web analysis reporting option. And that's a ad hoc kind of query and graphical reporting tool that leverages Essbase. And in that case, we would look at designing an OAC BI dashboard to replace that. So If you have any, it's not used, obviously, it's not a common reporting tool that's out there, but we still come across folks that have it. And certainly if you do, we could, talk to you about the steps involved of moving those over to the BI reporting solution. In addition, for those of you that have Essbase Excel add-in reports, so there's two basically Essbase plugins, and the most current version uses SmartView, and that's the future direction of reporting against Essbase from the Microsoft Office products. There are still a lot of folks out there that have the old Essbase Excel add-in client as well, which they can use directly against Essbase. The good news is those spreadsheets are very easy to get up and running with OAC Essbase SmartView. Really, all you have to do is just open that spreadsheet within the OAC Essbase SmartView version, reset your database connection, and depending on the design of those reports, if they're just simple ad hoc retrievals, all you do is do refresh and you're done. But if you have any advanced type features inside of those reports, such as you may be using retained formulas on retrieval, so you have options to kind of format the spreadsheet and retain formulas in the spreadsheet. You have style options and formatting options. If you've implemented those types of features using the Essbase Excel add-in, you'll have to reset those features with the OAC Essbase SmartView. So you would have to open each one of your reports, and it's a real simple process if it's just a straight kind of ad hoc retrieval. And then if you do have any of these formatting or style-based features, you would have to go through and kind of reset those within the Oracle Analytics Cloud Essbase version. So to build upon that, and again, just to emphasize the next two webinars, we are going to get into the business intelligence reporting options and data visualization in the next two webinars. And the use case there is those particular reporting options are integrated with Essbase as part of the Analytics Cloud. So those can connect directly to Essbase and source data directly from Essbase for reporting purposes. So you have those additional options, and we're going to talk a lot about those in the next two webinars. So Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud, what is it? So Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud is also referred to as management reporting, and that's kind of the new naming convention going forward that you'll probably hear a lot about, as well as you'll hear us reference a lot today. But management reporting is the replacement for the old financial reports on premise. And management reporting is now a cloud-based reporting solution for creating financial and management reports against all of your EPM cloud sources. So it works against all of your planning and budgeting cloud services, against your financial consolidation and close management services. It, of course, works against the Oracle Analytics Cloud, as well as it allows you to connect to a whole host of source files and documents, and Jay's going to get into that today. In addition, management reporting allows you to connect back to the Oracle ERP Cloud, and the direction with this particular reporting tool is it will allow you to do reporting not only on the EPM applications, but it will expand to allow reporting on ERP Cloud, HCM Cloud, and other Oracle Cloud solutions as well. So what's nice about management reporting, and we're going to do a quick comparison with financial reports here in just a couple of minutes, but it has all the key benefits you would need for reporting, and it really takes the ability to embed grids and charts into a report package to a real unique level that is, we're seeing a lot of interest, because you can now, one of the limitations, if you will, of the old financial reports and doing reporting against Essbase is you could not work with narrative information. You couldn't work with graphs and charts and kind of bring all that together in a very efficient process for reporting. Well, management reporting uses a concept called report packages, which really allows you to take your reporting books and documents to another level. And we're excited to show you that here today. So as mentioned, management reporting is the standard for reporting in the cloud. And it not only works against your Oracle Analytics Cloud solution and the EPM cloud service, but it does also allow you to leverage on-premise applications and pull them into the option as well. And Oracle certainly has a roadmap of and a support matrix. And as we go forward with new releases of the Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud, you're going to see more and more certifications of both on-premise and cloud applications as part of the support matrix. So EPRCS reporting packages, the key here, which Jay is going to spend a lot of time in his demonstration on, is it really uses SmartView as a key tool to pull together data in any format. It can be an Excel file, it could be a Word document, it could be a Microsoft Office email file, it could be a PowerPoint document. The Performance Reporting Cloud service allows you to work with all of those source documents and create what we call Doclets, which are basically reusable objects for your reporting packages. And they can have live retrieves or refreshes from Essbase, from OAC BI, from planning, from financial consolidations, from just a flat file, or from a relational table. It's really, the possibilities are really endless in terms of being able to bring together data for reporting packages, as well as it provides, you know, all the traditional management reporting that you would expect with the FR tool. So here's a quick rundown of the Performance Reporting Cloud, and Jay's going to go through each one of these areas in detail. He's also going to cover the reporting packages, which is what we're really excited about for our clients and being able to take their whole reporting process to that next level. Also, from a conversion standpoint, there is a conversion process that we've created here at Sierra-Cedar to bring your financial reports that you've created in the Financial Report Studio over to the cloud. And Jay's going to go through a specific example of that today. This is just a quick screenshot of the Performance Reporting Cloud, and you basically run through a process of exporting those reports on-premise. And for those of you that are familiar with the on-premise versions, you can do it a couple of different ways, but the simplest way is you can just go right into Workspace, as it's called, and you just export the report out to a file, and then from there you can import that file right into the reporting cloud service and leverage the management reporting option. So this is just a quick example. We worked with one of our clients, Duke University Health System, and we actually went through a process of taking their FR reports and actually bringing them into the cloud and going through the whole process of what would be involved to update those reports. So this is just a quick screenshot. We brought in a whole, various reports, from your standard financial reports to statement of operations to statistics and volumes and things like that. Brought all those reports in, and those are going to be the basis of our demonstration today. So with that, Jay, I'm going to turn it over to Jay, and Jay's going to just do a couple quick comparisons of features between financial reporting and management reporting, and then we're going to jump right into the demonstration. So Jay?
Yeah, thanks. So one thing to keep in mind as we go through these comparisons is to understand that management reporting is not financial reporting in the cloud. Okay, the two are truly separate entities, if you will. Now, with that said, management reporting is gaining parity with financial reporting and continues to evolve almost on a monthly basis. Now, Oracle will probably tell you that they don't like comparing MR management reporting to FR feature by feature, because they don't want customers to not use MR if they perceive a lot of limitations or vice versa. However, I think the biggest takeaway is for those of you who use financial reporting or Reporting Web Studio is to see those things that are the same to help you with the transition into using MR. So one thing as we look at these is management reporting overall has a much better design paradigm than financial reporting. Almost every FR feature in MR is improved drastically. So with that said, just looking at this slide, multiple data sources in a single grid, you see an asterisk by yes for MR, though they are available, but via grid formulas. There are no hidden grids yet, but those are coming soon. Save as member has been replaced in management reporting by the save selection functionality, which allows a same as on multiple grids in the same report. And all financial report functions should be in MR except for advanced member functions like member properties such as associated attributes, UDAs, and those are going to be coming soon. And then one thing to note, and you'll see this on the next few slides, is that FR desktop cloud support is going to end June of this year. Okay, next slide. So with custom headers, management reporting has automatic and improved freeze headers when scrolling large HTML reports. And you'll see that actually in the demo that I'm going to be doing soon. In FR, we have expansions. In management reporting, we have a zoom feature. And with zoom, you're able to zoom to children, descendants, or bottom level. That can also be applied at segment level, grid level, or ad hoc mode. And then with conditional format and suppression, there's more conditional or conditions you can use in management reporting. You can define it once and apply it elsewhere. And then one cool feature is you can hover over a conditional format in the report designer, and it will tell you or show you the name of what you're using and where in the grid that conditional format is. All right, next slide. Here, the big takeaway is that in management reporting, you cannot create report books, but as Jason mentioned, you can create report packages. And so those take place of the reporting books that you can do in FR, and you still cannot do the report batches. And next slide. And then with data sources, management reporting can connect to almost every EPM cloud service out there. It can also connect to Essbase on-premise. It cannot connect to Hyperion Planning on-prem or HFM on-prem. It can also connect to Fusion ERP, and actually both FR and management reporting can do that. Next slide. And so here are a few links that we wanted to post. These are out on the Oracle library. One, migrating financial reporting reports, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And then differences between financial reporting and management reporting. If you look at this, you're going to see a long list of differences, but we are happy to work with you and kind of go through those with you and kind of help you navigate the differences between the two and transitioning from FR into management reporting. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and get into the demonstration here. So in this demo, we're going to cover a few different use cases when it comes to reporting. The first is if you recently migrated over to OAC Essbase from on-prem and you need to bring your Financial Reporting Studio reports over, how do you do that? What can you expect? We'll cover that, and then how to use those reports in reporting packages. And then the second use case we'll go through is how to tell a story with your data using SmartView and Adhoc Reporting. For those who are new to SmartView, in Adhoc Analysis, we'll use a SmartView add-in with Excel spreadsheets to retrieve and analyze data by selecting members, using functions, and performing a variety of operations, including formatting, to help us design our reports. So first, we're going to go ahead and begin with importing FRS. into Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud. And so the first step with that is to export your reports. You can export reports from financial reporting one at a time or in bulk. If you do them in bulk, you're going to have a reports.zip file. If you do them one at a time, you might have a DES or a report file, depending on if it's a report or a snapshot. Once you have your zip file, you can then import them into management reporting. And so the steps are to navigate to the library. You're going to click on the action menu. You're going to click import. And then in the import dialog box, you're going to perform the following actions. We're going to select local for file. You're going to click browse and locate either the DES, RPT, or reports.zip file on your local machine. And then once you do that, you're going to go ahead and select the location to import the report to. You can select the current folder, or you can select a new folder within the library. Go ahead and click OK, and then click OK on the message that the import is running. To see the results of your import, you have a couple of options. You can click on the Messages button to go to the Messages page. You can also look in your inbox. You're going to receive an email letting you know the artifacts were migrated successfully. Or you can click refresh from the action menu, and then your reports are displayed. So when you open a report that's been migrated, the system will display any errors that occurred during the migration process. And these errors will not prevent you from opening the report or from the report being migrated, but you'll have to resolve the error in order for your report to display properly. We kind of found that there's 3 common validation errors that occur. The first is data source. So here's an example of an error that you'll get if the data source name in management reporting does not match the data source in financial reporting. So what you have to do is you have to then change the data source in management reporting to match what you have in FRS. And to do that, you just right click on the report. You're going to click change data source. And then you're going to select your data source, and then you're going to hit OK. Now that I updated the data source for that particular report, I can reopen it, and I should not get that error. So when I open it in management reporting, and you're going to see a lot of familiar things if you're FR users. One is the POV right here on the top. There's also a toolbar on the top. Here's the report body where we have a text box and a header that's utilizing some text functions. In the body of the report, I have a grid that's bringing in data from the Essbase cube that I just set up a second ago. I have some page numbers and some additional text box using some text functionality. Up here in the Actions menu, I can switch over and preview the report in PDF. One thing to note is that I don't have to have Adobe installed on my computer to view PDFs. It's all done within a PDF framework within ERPC. And then another thing to note is if you have multiple alias tables in the report, while I'm reviewing the report, I can switch back and forth between those alias tables. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to edit this report by clicking on the pencil or edit icon. And now I'm in edit mode. So we're just going to kind of go over a few contents here. One is on the left side. This is where you add additional pages or sheets. Each page or sheet can have its own content. Here we have our grid in the report design canvas. This is where I can insert objects. I can resize and move things around. Here's the text box. And then on the right side here, we have a very streamlined properties panel where under general, we have page setup options. And then if I click individual object and click layout, I can select layout options for that selected object. So the second most common validation error is resizing. If I was to open this up and the grid is outlined in red, that means it extends beyond the measured area of the canvas. So all I have to do to fix that is just resize. Just resize the grid until it's in the work area, and then that red outline will then turn blue like you see now. I can also click on the object and move it around. It has that sort of snap to functionality. And then if I want to go ahead and edit an object, I can click on the pencil icon, or I can click on the Actions menu, select Edit, and then I can select which object I want to go ahead and edit. So once we're in the edit mode, I can see my POV here on the top. Again, a lot of same functionality that we have in FR. Here I can select a single member, or I can allow users to change it. There's functions, so I can choose ancestors, I can choose different levels. I can also select multiple members. I can also use or allow users to pick from the list to select those additional members. I can also hide items. And then I can also make each member a printable page. Here we have our grid with rows and columns and formulas, which leads me to the third most common validation error that we see. In FRS, we can use formulas use custom formulas entirely. And ERPC requires that formulas be set at the row or column level. If custom formulas are necessary to override the column or row or column formulas, that's fine, but that default row or column formula must be set. In FRS, we would do that by just kind of selecting the row or the column. In ERPC, we have to actually select on the row header or column header in order to set the formula. Then over here, we have our properties panel again. And then one cool feature that differs management reporting from FRS is that if I click on the preview icon here, while I'm in the edit mode, I can preview the grid without having to run the entire report. This is huge if I have a huge report with a lot of pages and a lot of data sources coming in. In this particular case, I can just look at what I'm working on. It renders quickly, and then I can go back to edit mode to make any changes. One other validation error that you might run into is if you have drill through content. If you migrate those FR reports that contain links to related content to management reporting, you have to make sure that related content comes over with those reports. You have to save that related content into the same folder path in Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud, or else there'll be a validation error when you try to go back and open that report. Users may not even see the drill through link in the report too. So once we've migrated our FRS reports and we fixed all the validation errors, the next use case is then using those reports in, let's say, a CAFR or a quarterly board review or even an annual report that must be published and disseminated amongst key stakeholders. And so this is done in ERPC by creating a report package. And a report package is a report book that combines narrative elements with data and is either Word or PowerPoint based and is made up of several components, the main one being doclets. And so doclets are just individual pieces of a report that can be assigned out to authors to provide the content. There's also supplemental doclets, which are files such as instructions that the authors can use to aid them in creating the content for doclets, but they're not merged into the reporting package at the end. There's reference doclets, which is a particular type of Excel document that can be used to centralize the maintenance of images, charts, data grids, text, etc., also not merged into the reporting package. We have sections, which help group and organize doclets in a report package. There's a style sample, which really drives that consistent look and feel of the report. Embedded content, which is centralized content controlled by that reference document I just mentioned. And then finally, the big selling point, I think, is the development phases. The author phase, the review phase, the sign-off phase. These are all phases that an administrator or report package owner can select during the report development, which really helps aid the flow of the report. So the author phase is where users will compile the various report content and the supporting details together into a cohesive report package. You have the review phase, which allows users to gather commentary on multiple draft versions, and then the sign-off phase with the signer at the very end gives a approve or reject to the package. So here I am in the report center. This is same for any report package that you create, and it's really a powerful UI that gives the user the ability to see the status of each development phase. They can see what's happening in each phase. They can see who's responsible for specific content, whether it's a doclet or a reference doclet. The Report Center displays a different view depending on the access the user has to that content, which means there is security built into ERPC. And that can be either role-based, that could be artifact or object-based. It can also be data-based if the users are using an application. The Report Center also provides content management. So not only provides the status of the phase in the workflow, but you can act on any doclet. You can check it out, which locks users from updating the doclet. You can download and update the document. And then you can also finally check it in, which unlocks the document for other users to use. Jason touched on this a little bit earlier, but there's two ways to author a doclet. The first is using the web interface. So we download a doclet, we work on it on our local machine, we upload it back to the cloud, we're done. The second is via SmartView. And SmartView allows a user to perform content management actions, just like the web user interface. And users can choose whether to use it to use the web or to use SmartView. So in this example, I have a report that's a quarterly report for the board. And you can see that I'm the author for a few of the doclets. And once I'm finished building a doclet, I'll go ahead and submit that doclet for review. And the phase bar up top adjusts depending on the number of outstanding doclets to submitted doclets. The submit action kicks off the next stage, whether that's the review phase, if that's turned on, or an approval phase, which is a phase within the author phase. In my reference document folder, I have a lot of reference doclets. I'm going to show you an example here of an Excel reference doclet. And what you see here is just a typical table built in Excel with your values, and you got some headers. I also have another spreadsheet with some additional values under the rules that I'm going to use for reference variables that we'll talk about in just a minute. But in order to take this table and embed it into a Word doclet, I have to first name the range. So I go to formulas, I define the name of the range. In this particular case, I called it income statement. And once I upload this and check it back into the cloud, that named range or embedded content is now available for use by anybody in a Word document or doclet. So here's an example. I check out my doclet. I click on embed, I find that available content. There it is, income statement. I click on that, I hit OK, and now I'm going to have that same grid from my Excel reference doclet in my Word doclet. Whenever I make a change or refresh that Excel document, I come over here, I hit refresh, and these numbers change automatically. But the doclets will change automatically. I don't even have to open it to refresh it. The report package refreshes. The other thing you can do in SmartView is variables. So we have two types of variables. We have static, which is just a string of text, such as dates, could be a paragraph. And we also have reference variables. Reference variables are great because they're sourced out of another document. And if you're using Excel formulas, you can dictate what a variable will be based on those formulas. So for example, if I wanted to use above and below, I could create a formula based on my variance, let's say, that gives me above or below, and I can use that as a reference variable. I can use variance percentages and so on and so forth. And then the last thing is we can add narrative elements to our doclet. So you see we got a lot of things going on, all done in one interface. And then when we're done, we upload, we check in. Here I get to select any attributes that's pertaining to this particular doclet that might not match with my style sheet. So I can always override that style sheet. And then once we have it checked in, you'll see the blue circle with the number. That lets me know how many times these variables are being used in my doclet. I can also highlight a variable so I can see exactly where it's being used. And anytime I make a change to those variables, those changes will be propagated throughout the whole report package, depending on if I'm using those variables. One other cool thing from the Report Center is I can preview my report at any time by clicking on the Preview tab. When I preview, all the doclets are merged into a report. Here's an example of one of the variables I used. I can create an automatic or dynamic table of content that's based on headers that I'm using within the report. Here's a Doclet I was just working on. Here's the embedded content, as some more variables. Everything comes in nice and neat. The style sheet dictates, the font and the headers. And then here are the FRS reports that I migrated in. I made these as reference doclets, and I was able to embed these reports into my Word doclets. And again, if I make any kind of change to these, then those changes will be refreshed throughout my report package. So I would be remiss if I didn't take a quick second to kind of walk through some of the other features here. So when you log into EPRCS, you come to a home page. You have a welcome panel there on the left. You have incomplete tasks, so you always know where you are within the report package, the flow of the report package. So if you're assigned a doclet, and you're still working on it, that will show up in your incomplete tasks. New messages, if you receive a message, whether it's because of migrations or some other kind of LCM action, that'll appear in messages. So you have that by either clicking on the messages button on the right or going to new messages. You can also flag messages. And then any report package you might be working on that's an active report package will show up in your active report packages, which allows you to get to your report package quickly and easy. You don't have to kind of fish through it through the library or other means. You can also create a management report or report package from the welcome panel. You can open an object or an artifact, and then tour is just some YouTube videos provided by Oracle to kind of help walk you through Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud. Some of the other features, we talked about report packages and reports already. Disclosure management is a really great tool. It is an additional license, but this is where you can create 10Qs, 10Ks, other XRBL reporting, very robust. I think it evolves just as much as the management reporting does. You have the library, which is the centralized repository here in EPRC. The application, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And then we have daily maintenance, which Oracle takes snapshots of your production and test environment every day. We can set the time on when we want that to happen. Then we have appearance, so we can change the backdrop here. You can add a picture. And then lastly, we have Academy, which again is more documentation, more help videos on how to use the tool. So besides creating reports, another great feature is that application. And an application within EPRCS allows users to store relevant report package data in the cloud. So if you do not have an Essbase application, or you do not have PBCS, you can take data from an outside source and bring it into EPRCS. Again, it serves as a container for shared dimensions, for data, reporting models. I can have up to 5 models and 12 multiple dimensions in a model. And unlike OAC Essbase, there are no complex settings to maintain. However, I cannot run complex calculations. Okay, this is truly a reporting cube only. It's easy to create dimensions and add additional models. And then once we have those dimensions set up, it's very easy to add those members either through a text file with built-in load rules, or I can add them manually through the dimension hierarchy. Once we've added our members, the last step after we've deployed the model is to load the data, and then I can verify those data loads in SmartView by creating an Adhoc report. So again, the application can be used as a data source to create your management reports. You would just connect to it just like I'm connecting to the application through SmartView.
Yeah, and Jay, I just wanted to emphasize for everyone again, what we're showing you here from a Essbase reporting standpoint is meant to be read-only reporting cubes that don't require calculations, as Jay mentioned. So the process though would be the same if you were to deploy an OAC Essbase full use cube where you wanted to do custom calculations, all kinds of formulas and roll-ups, etc. What Jay is showing you here, it would work the same. It's just you do have the added flexibility with the Performance Reporting Cloud to create standalone reporting cubes within Essbase as well. Go ahead, Jay.
So the last use case I want to show is how to analyze that data using SmartView. So organizations that have data to analyze, they have stories to tell, whether it's diagnosing the reason for a decrease in production, examining the variances between revenue and expenses that sort of capture the imagination of your target audience, or informing colleagues about labor decisions. SmartView reporting, particularly ad hoc analysis, allows users to slice and dice large amounts of data in various ways to aid in telling those stories. So with that said, as we know SmartView today, this is the exact same thing that you might be used to. All right, we have my SmartView connections here, and I'm going to go ahead and connect to my cube and click on Ad Hoc Analysis. And when I click on Ad Hoc Analysis, I see my Essbase structure. So let's say we need to produce a budget variance report for non-labor expenses for the entire Sierra-Cedar health system. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my year through member selection. We're going to look at FY 2017. And then I'm going to select my entity member, which is going to be the Sierra-Cedar health system. Again, using the member selector. There's other ways to do this. I could type it in. I could also drill down. I'm going to pivot my scenario out of the POV and into the columns. And I'm going to select the scenarios I need, which are actual, budget, and a couple variance members. Again, I'm going to use the member selector for that. Then I'm going to go ahead and select the member I need for period, which is just going to be year to date. Drag that through. I'll go ahead and refresh so I can see some of the data. A little formatting here to see what we're working with. All right, and the next step to get to the account I need, I'm going to go ahead and drill through. I can double click on account and that'll drill down. I can also zoom in, zoom out. I can also use a member selector. Because I don't need anything other than excess of revenues or over expenses, I'm just going to keep that and then just continue to drill until I get to the level that I need. Now, again, this is based off of my Essbase cube that I've created in OAC Essbase. So this is the same dimension hierarchy that I have in OAC Essbase. I'm going to go through non-capital expense. There's my non-labor expense because this is really the only thing I need. I'm going to go ahead and keep this, get rid of everything else, and then I'm going to drill through to get to the parent, or sorry, the children of non-labor expense. So once I have the members that I need for my variance report, I can go ahead and send these members to POV since I only have one year member and one entity. And then I can go ahead and do a little bit of formatting because just standard Excel formatting, put in accounting formatting for the numbers. And then since my variance percentages are percentages, I can go ahead and change those to percent. And then I can go even a little bit further and do some SmartView type formatting. So I'm going to go ahead and take out or suppress no data and zero. I'm going to retain numeric formatting. And then I'm going to go ahead and play with some cell styles. So we're going to change the color of my parent cells. And then also do the read-only. So again, a lot of things you could do with formatting to help design those reports, to help tell that story in a way other than just regular tables and grids that you can find with Excel. Go ahead and add a board here. And that's it. So here's my ad hoc report. So as we know, Essbase, again, today, it's the same exact thing as OAC Essbase. And there's really no differences from the SmartView reporting side of it. So for example, we can do cascading. And so let's say you have the same variance report that you have to create now is for the Sierra-Cedar Health Operation department heads. So the Cascade functionality lets you dynamically and automatically produce multiple reports based on the original. So the first thing here is I'm going to select Cascade. I'm going to choose Children on Operations. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep FY17 since it's for this year. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Then I'm going to hit OK. Now I can choose to have my sheets appear in the same workbook, in a new workbook or a different workbook. And as you can see, once I run it, now I have one report for each department in my operations entity. And I can divvy these out. I can do additional analysis with them. But I do not have to create multiple iterations of one single report, which makes life much easier for the budget analyst or the financial analyst. So the last thing is I can do Smart Slice. And this is key for, let's say, ASO cubes that have thousands of members. And you need to restrict user access to data. This functionality is also great for users that also may not know how to access certain intersections because there's just so many members to get to. So here's an example. I just want to look at the actual scenario and the budget scenario. We'll select a period to be used. And again, I'm just creating a slice of the data for a particular, let's say, analyst or somebody who doesn't need to see all the data that I have, just a slice of that certain data. So I'm just looking at the health system here. And then once I create that slice, I can go ahead and save it. And that's going to appear over my connections. So then I could share this with somebody or give them access to this slice so that they can see this piece of the data. And some other things I can do, I can insert it into a report, I can modify it, I can rename it, I can remove it, so on and so forth. So really the biggest takeaway here is that you'll be using the foundation of Oracle, hosting this Essbase footprint, with you creating and managing applications accordingly. But with reporting, you're with management reporting and through SmartView, you're able to do a lot more. And I think that's really the key with OAC Essbase. So with that concludes the demo. Turn it back over to you, Jason.
All right. Thank you, Jay. So just to talk about a couple things as we wrap up here today. One is, as Jay was going through the SmartView demonstration, I just want to remind everyone again that if you have old spreadsheets via SmartView or the Essbase Excel add-in, those can be brought right into the SmartView version Jay was showing you. And as I mentioned earlier in the session, if you've applied some formulas and calculations in Excel, styles, things like that, you would have to open each one of those spreadsheets individually and update the settings with OAC Essbase. So, really a very easy process, and we'd be happy to help you through that process and show you how to do a couple of them. But very easy process to bring those old Excel reports into OAC Essbase. The other thing too that I wanted to just emphasize, which we covered in our first webinar, is that as Jay was showing you all of that ad hoc analysis capability that's available with SmartView, just keep in mind the benefits of OAC and the integration with the underlying Oracle database provided, as well as the platform as a service. You can drill right from Essbase to the underlying transactions. So you'll recall, for those of you that attended our first webinar, we showed you an example of that. So you can do that full ad hoc analysis, but also drill right to underlying supporting transactional detail that's either stored in the cloud within an Oracle database or stored on-premise within an Oracle database. So that drill through reporting is a very nice feature with the SmartView ad hoc. So with that, we're going to wrap up today's session, and we can open it up for some questions. I do want to emphasize one last time again that next Thursday we are going to dig into Oracle Analytics Cloud from a data visualization and BI perspective. So the last two webinars, of course, have been focused a lot on EPM and Essbase. The next two webinars are going to focus on BI and data visualization within the Oracle Analytics Cloud. So we're looking forward and hoping you can join us for those two sessions. So with that, we'll go ahead and open it up for any questions today.
Thank you, Jason and Jay. If you haven't already, we now invite you to submit your questions in the chat window or questions window at the bottom of the webinar control panel. Our first question is regarding the diagram on slide 14. And the attendee asks, I didn't think FR Web Studio was in the cloud.
Yeah, so good question. So the FR Web Studio, there is a version of that that's available with PBCS and FCCS. So not to confuse the matter, but there is a separate web reporting option that's based on the old financial reports that's available in the cloud for PBCS and FCCS, but that is a standalone option only for those solutions. What we showed you here today is the whole enterprise performance reporting cloud that opens up all your data sources and is Oracle's strategic direction for what they call management reporting. So over time, you'll see management reporting, and what we showed you today will become the standard for reporting packages, ad hoc reporting, etc. But good question. There is still a standalone version of web reporting that's available for PBCS and FCCS. Next question.
What considerations do we need to take regarding sources and EPRC? I'm thinking about on-premise sources. Can EPRC VPN to those sources, or does it rely on the data getting placed in the cloud?
Yes, good question. And similar to some of the questions that were asked last week, there is an option. You mentioned VPN. There is an optional option within Oracle Analytics Cloud to subscribe to VPN services to add further security around your Oracle Analytics Cloud. But the answer to the question is you can connect to any data source via SmartView. So you can, as Jay was demonstrating, you can have Excel files, Word documents, etc., that pull data from any of your on-premise systems. It can pull data from your ERP system. It can pull data from your data warehouse. It can pull data from your HR system and output that to an Excel file, which then can be used to bring it directly into the performance reporting cloud. So there's really no limitations on the data sources that you can access. You can pull data really from any data source. It's just a matter of getting that data into a format that can be used via SmartView. In addition, you can use the Performance Reporting Cloud to connect directly to the supported data sources. So Jay covered what those supported data sources are today. We'd be happy to talk to you about that. So for the sources that are supported for direct connection, you can report directly off of those and query and report data directly off of those. And that would be the Oracle Analytics Cloud, that would be PBCS, FCCS, as well as ERP Cloud, etc. For those sources that aren't supported for direct connectivity today, you would have to integrate those sources via the SmartView interface and bringing those that data through Excel or Word. So I hope that answers the question, and certainly, that's a question we could talk about for 30 minutes. So we could, would love to talk with you and follow up about that in more detail. Next question.
Is enterprise performance reporting the same as BI Publisher?
No, good question. No, it's a different tool. BI Publisher is an operational reporting tool that allows you to select and query transactional data directly. For those of you that aren't familiar with BI Publisher, it's a direct operational reporting tool that allows you to filter and select data directly from a relational database, and it's part of the reporting suite within Oracle's business intelligence solution. EPRCS is a completely separate product. EPRCS is, again, about generating report packages and combining your typical financial reports or management reports with narrative information, graphs, charts, etc., to produce board packages, 10K, 10Q, budget books, financial reporting books, etc. So different products. Next question.
Can you use a relational database as a source for EPR reports or Essbase cubes only?
No, you can use a relational database, but the connection to that, you would have to download the data first from the relational database to Excel, for example, and then you could pull it into the performance reporting cloud. If it's in Essbase, you can just connect to that data directly.
Next question. Can you use graphs or bar charts in EPR reports similar to OAC BI or only grids with numbers?
I know you can. Jay, do you want to take that question and talk about all the graphs and charts you
Yeah,
can
sure
pull
can.
into?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can definitely use. I mean, there's callouts, bubbles, pie charts, bar charts, all kinds of graphs. And that's one thing that I know the team at Oracle has worked on over during their updates to ERPC, is making sure that those are available. So yeah, so you got your grids with your data, you have images, you have charts, and text boxes, and all those things can be used in management reporting.
Great. Next question. Is management reporting included with Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud, or do you need a separate license?
No, it's included.
Yep.
So management reporting is part of the Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud, and which we mentioned earlier as well, but just to add to that, of course, the Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud is a separate subscription from the Oracle Analytics Cloud.
Next question.
Next question.
Did you encounter performance issues with management reporting and SmartView, again, OAC Essbase versus on-premise Essbase?
Yeah, good question. We did not encounter any performance issues on the reporting side or on the performance of the Essbase cube itself. I know in our last webinar, we talked a little bit about the results of some performance benchmarking that we did with one of our clients. And those benchmarks were all positive for performance of Essbase in the cloud, as well as, we have seen, exceptional performance through SmartView and, Enterprise Performance Reporting cloud service as well against Essbase. So up to this point, we haven't encountered, any per se major performance issues, but I will just emphasize again, which we talked about, I know across all of our webinars, is that you really need to think through the sizing of your Oracle Analytics Cloud environment and that shape size that we've talked a lot about. So how much CPU, memory, and storage is allocated to your Oracle Analytics Cloud instance, and what is that shape size? So we can help you through that those performance considerations. Certainly, you're going to see different performance levels with a single CPU, low memory shape versus a multiple CPU with high memory shape size. Next question.
That's it, I think. Thank you, Jason and Jay. I believe we've covered all of our questions. Is there anything else before we wrap up today?
No, appreciate everyone joining, and hope we can join again next week when we dive into some additional functionality in the Oracle Analytics Cloud with BI and data visualization.
Great. We hope to meet with you again next Thursday for our 4th webinar in this series, Drive Better Insights with Oracle Analytics Cloud. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day.